Hey everyone, welcome to I think this is week 7 of our class. Yep, I hope you're doing all right after the hurricane came through. I hope none of you are over in Columbus technically you could be taking this class living in all parts of Georgia. It's online. So if you were impacted by the hurricane, I am sorry. Okay, so crazy times. So this week, y'all should have submitted your essay 1. We had a lot of time. We had 6 weeks to work on essay 1, and we won't have that much time to work on essay 2. Okay, so I hope you utilize that time, and now we're going to be moving much faster. Okay. If you have not turned in your essay in yet, then you still have time. I have there's a lot that have already been submitted, and it's going to take me a long time to grade everybody. So I'm thinking a 2-week turnaround in terms of getting these essays graded. All right. So you just want to make sure you get yours turned in by the time I'm finished grading. Okay. And I might finish grading this week, and maybe I'm like, woo, and I just get tons of it done, and I'm done by Friday, or not. Okay. So there's no guarantee. If you have not turned in your essay yet, it's not currently a 0, but I'm not giving you any specific time in which I'll be done with these essays. Okay. Also, in terms of the chaos of the peer review form, listen, everyone. If you submit a peer review form in the Dropbox, I'll accept it without any penalty this one time. Okay. Just know that for the peer review 2 and peer review 3, they will need to be submitted in the Dropbox on time as well. I don't grade them on the discussion board because that takes too much hunting. Instead, the Dropbox is there. So you need to submit it in the Dropbox. Okay. I don't need any more emails asking for points back. If you submit it into the Dropbox, you'll get full credit. Okay. Good times. Let's look at what we're doing today. This is week 7. We're going to go over cause and effect essays, compare, contrast, and classification and division. Essay 2, which we'll discuss next week, is going to use these modes of writing: cause and effect, comparison, contrast, and classification and division. Okay. These are the things you're going to read this week. And you have reading analysis 3 assignment, which I'll go over. Okay. All right. Let's get into the PowerPoint, which the notes will be posted in the week 7 folder. Okay. Oops. Present. Okay. So essay 2 styles: cause and effect, classification and division, and then comparison and contrast. These are pretty easy ones. I think all of you will get these. Oh, and happy October. Woo woo, going into Halloween season. Yay. So exciting. All right, cause and effect. Cause and effect essay can do one of 2 things. It can analyze the ways in which one or more effects can result from a particular cause, as in like focus on effects methods, or it can analyze the ways in which one or more causes lead to a particular effect, focus on causes. All right. Now these are also paragraphs. This is saying essays, but like you're not writing an entire cause and effect essay, and you're not writing a comparison contrast essay. These are modes of writing. So you will use these in the same essay. You'll use cause and effect and these other modes all, and like your paragraph can be a focus on the effects paragraph, or it can be a focus on the cause paragraph. There are different types of causes. What we first see are often the superficial contributing reasons. but hiding just out of sight are the fundamental causes. So like these are much, should be much more, much deeper analysis. It's not just the obvious cause. Obvious causes are not intelligent discussions. Okay. And then we have things like the primary cause. Okay. So like, for example, pollution is caused by transportation, manufacturing, and humans. And then we have things like effects. Okay. Sometimes we want to focus on the effects. What are the effects of air pollution? So today we're not talking about what caused. Air pollution is here. What are the effects? So like today we were having a discussion class about the weather and about the hurricane stuff, right? And that like a lot of people want to argue the cause for these hurricanes and the increase in. So, for example, I just read that we've had in the last 7 years, we've had more Category 4 and 5 hurricanes than we've had in the previous 57 years. Okay, so the science has shown us that we have way more hurricanes, strong hurricanes than before. And the reasoning for that is because the science has shown us, has proven to us that the waters are warmer and that the earth is warmer than it at a faster rate than it has been. Okay. So those are facts. Now, sometimes people want to have the conversation about what has caused the earth to warm. Okay. Some people argue that it's the burning of fossil fuels and pollution. Some people argue, no, it's not the fossil fuels. It's, if you look at the history, geological history, you see that the earth goes through periods of warming and cooling throughout its entire millions of years. Now, also, if you want to look at it, though, that the process of warming has sped up, but whatever. Maybe we don't want to have that conversation. Okay. Regardless of, because a lot of times, like for whatever reasons, I don't know why it's a political issue, but people, usually those who agree or disagree with pollution causing the rise in earth temperatures is related for some reason to political parties. And so, to now it's it's more important to have, instead of having a cause conversation, because like if it's here, we have warmer waters, we have warmer temperatures, we have volatile weather, like it's here. Now what we need to focus on is the effects and how to solve those effects. Okay, so just regardless of who to blame, earth or pollution, if the waters are warmer and they're creating stronger and more furious hurricanes, then the effect on our society should be on developing infrastructure to withstand those things. Okay. We should no longer be focused on the causes. We need to move on beyond that and focus on preventing the effects. Okay. Stop blaming whatever we want to blame and instead move on to the effects and how do we prevent those effects. Okay. And actually, selecting a topic, we will skip that because you're not writing an essay that's just on a cause and effect issue. Okay, so we'll move on from that. All right. Now, listen. I think there's a documentary that you should totally watch. Okay, it's called Food Incorporated, and it's a great documentary about our food system. Okay, and in this documentary, it uses a lot of these strategies. It uses cause and effect, uses comparison, contrast, and classification, and division. And it's a free documentary to watch. It was in the movie theaters. It's about 10 years old. You should click on this and you can watch the documentary. Now, I'm going to talk about one specific scene, okay, from Food Incorporated. This one scene is called or I guess a chapter. It's called Unintended Consequences. So this is about the effects of our food system. Okay. And in this essentially chapter of the film, okay, the chapter of Food Inc. focuses on one of the unintended consequences of our current food system, the occasional contamination of the food supply and the very real risks presented to the population. The film puts a face on this problem by interviewing the mother of a toddler who died from E. coli contracted from eating a hamburger. The film describes how feeding cows corn, this is corn, a cheap and abundant crop because of subsidies, has increased the evidence of E. coli, since corn raises the level of E. coli in cows' guts. Okay. This is a woman cleaning out a cow's guts from undigested because of the undigested corn. In light of this higher risk of contamination, the film shows meat packers taking such measures as using ammonia to cleanse meat meant for human consumption. Okay, so the film goes through this whole process of like how E. coli gets into our systems. The cows eat corn. The cows cannot digest corn. The cows are in these pens where they just hang around with all their manure all day, and they get caked with poop. Okay, the E. coli is in the poop because the E. coli, they pooped it out, and then when they go to the slaughterhouses, the E. coli ends up in the meat. All right, so these are, and what the film says is that this is caused by the corn that we're feeding cows, cause and effect. Okay, now of course the farmers, a lot of people, meat production, they like feeding corn to cows because it makes them really fat. A cow who eats corn is a much fatter cow than a cow, much more meaty cow than a cow that eats grass. But the negative effects are that they create much more E. coli. So you should watch the film. It's great. And it uses tons and tons of comparison, contrast, cause and effect, and classification and division. Okay. Now, division. Division is when we take a topic that is usually seen as one thing and then break it up into distinct little pieces. Okay. So, like, for example, the 6 wings of the Democratic Party. You might think people, a Democrat is a Democrat, but that's just not really true. If we follow this link, let's see. Here, okay. All right, then we get to these other subdivisions of Democrats, and it's the same thing with Republicans as well. We have the super progressives, the very progressives, the progressive new guard, the progressive old guard, Joe Biden, yeah. The moderates, people who are kind of like somewhat liberal on cultural issues, okay, but more conservative and business friendly than other Democrats on economic policies. Then we have conservative Democrats who are skeptical of liberal views on both economic and cultural issues, often supportive of abortion limits, and they tend to be more conservative leaning. Okay. So there's, Democrats are not equal. They're all different. Just because you're one doesn't mean that, or someone who is a Democrat doesn't mean that they are all the same. They have very different beliefs also. So it's important to kind of like understand the differences. Okay. It's dividing up, seeing that like you might be under the same umbrella, but not really the all the same. So then we have classification. Many into group. Organize things into categories and give examples of things that fit into each category. So like American political parties, okay? We start dividing people up into like Republican parties, Democratic parties, Libertarian Party, American Communist Party, Green Party, okay? We have an election coming up, and really the only people who are, we say we have multiple parties, but for the most part, it's Republican, Democratic. That's just the way we are. We're pretty much just a dual party system. In theory, we have more parties. These are all official. The Green Party, Jill Stein has been running for the Green Party for almost every single election. Okay, the American Communist Party, they don't actually run anybody for president. They will what's that? They'll get behind one of the candidates who they feel is the most closest to their belief system. The Libertarian Party used to have candidates who would run as a third party, but they've never been successful though, which is a bummer. All right, and then there's comparison and contrast. Contrasts draw out differences between two subjects. Comparisons outline both similarities and differences between two subjects. Demonstrates how one subject is superior in some way to the other. Demonstrates how two subjects which appear dissimilar are actually very similar. And, so like people might think that all haunted house novels are the same, but they're not. They're very different. So people might see the obvious comparison of there being a haunted house, of there being people living in that house, of bad things happening. But there's some books that are appropriate for younger people, and there's some that are very crazy and demented. Some of them have sort of justifiable like hauntings, like, oh, that makes sense. Others have just completely ridiculous types of ghosts or hauntings. So it's fun to take something that appears to be similar, but then to kind of look and analyze it and realize, oh, this is actually very different. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can go to this. Oops. I have a website. We should go to it. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So here we have a comparison chart between Democrats and Libertarians of what they feel, their philosophy, socially liberal and fiscally conservative. Traditionally, not always though. There's a lot of libertarians who are also socially conservative as well. Economic ideas. Democrats tend to believe in minimum wages and progressive taxation, as in higher tax rates for higher income brackets. And libertarians believe taxes shouldn't be increased for anyone, including the wealthy, and that wages should be set by the free market. Some are against all taxation. Okay. Stance on gay marriage, Democrats support for the most part. They oppose government involvement in personal affairs, whether heterosexual or homosexual, which can be sometimes libertarians are like, some say yes, then gay marriage should be legal, but then others claim that making something legal or illegal is the government involvement, and so therefore nothing should be done at all. Which is kind of, I mean, interpret that how you want to. Okay, I won't get into that. Anyways, so this it kind of tells us the differences between Democrats and Libertarians. And it's really important, especially in an election year, to look at the differences in people's beliefs. You should be looking at objective arguments for the differences, the contrasts between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, and start making wise decisions, not based upon other people telling you what to think, but just looking at objective sources and just seeing what each person, where they stand on certain issues to make your decision if you're of legal age to vote. Okay, so let's look at this week's work. I don't know why I'm really having to present this, because it's on the assignment sheet, but here. Okay, so you're reading a couple different things. For the assignment, for the reading 3 analysis assignment, you're reading these 3 articles, which are all in your textbook. They're all in the textbook. Schools are banning my books, page 651 through 655. Sex, Lies, and Conversation, pages 412 through 416. Flick Chicks, a guide to women in the movies. 454 to 458. These are all short. It's 4 pages. 4 pages, 4 pages. They're all, so 12 pages total. Woo! Wow. That's a lot. No, it's not. And now, I mean, I did ask you that also you should read up on chapter 10, chapter 11, chapter 12, cause and effect. What is comparison contrast? What is classification division? That would be helpful as well. Okay. If we go to our dashboard. Okay. Can you? Thank you. Here we go. Go to weekly lessons. No. Okay. So if we go to our textbook, the ebook, and pull up my sheet here. Okay. It's on page 412 or 651. Schools are banning my books. Okay. Ebook. Let's see. So this is going to pull up. The connection was reset. We'll reset the connection. All right, great. So the first thing I'm gonna have you read. Again, if you want to read, look, cause and effect, chapter 10, comparison contrast, classification division. Read as much as you want. You can read all this, or you can just read cause and effect. What is cause and effect? Maybe using cause and effect. Okay. The chapters on the specific types, those are really for you. You're not being tested over those. Okay. But you are going to have to be writing about the reading selections. So schools are banning my books, page 651. Okay, you just type in 651 and it takes you here. Schools are banning my books, but queer kids need queer stories. Okay, so read this. Okay, then type in 412. Sex, lies, and conversation. Okay, read this. It's pretty short, like me. Okay, then type in 454. Boom. Flick Chicks, a guide to women in the movies. What? Oh my God. Okay, read that. The klutz, the weirdo, the woman who's obsessed with her career and is no fun at all. Ugh. Okay, you're done reading those. Weekly lessons, week 7, reading analysis assignment 3. Okay, so read all this. On a correctly formatted MLA document, you are going to write 3 paragraphs discussing the reading selections. These ones: schools are banning my books, sex, lies, and conversation, Flick Chicks. For each article, decide which of the 3 modes of writing it uses the most or best. Discuss the mode of writing and then pull evidence from the articles that prove those points. Your entire document should be about 600 to 900 words. So for schools are banning my books, schools banning my books, mostly schools banning my books, mostly a cause and effect essay, a comparison contrast essay, or classification division. What does it use most of? Okay, pick one and then prove it. Write about it, explain it, and prove it. Sex, lies, and conversation. Okay, is it more cause and effect? Is it classification? What is it? Okay, prove your points. All right, and use evidence. And then same thing with Flick Chicks. Ooh. Same thing with Flick Chicks. Okay, prove it. All right, you need to write about all 3. Use evidence from all 3. I don't really care if you repeat. If you're like, look, buyers, both of these are classification division. Okay. I can't pick one. I don't care. Fine. I don't care. If you're saying both, three of them are division, whatever. I'm really just grading your MLA formatting, your use of quotes, your argument. Is what you say justified by what you wrote? Okay. So if you are saying this sexualizing conversation is classification division, and it focuses on division, and then the quote you use has to support that, and then your analysis has to support that. Okay. I am not grading it. Like, no, there's no absolute right or wrong. It's about what are you saying, what your evidence you're using. Are you using that evidence correctly, and are you justifying your response? Okay, that's all I'm ever looking for. that's it. That's all I'm ever looking for. All right. So 3 paragraphs. Don't be one of those people. I'm getting people who are writing like 8 paragraphs when I've only asked for 3 paragraphs. Like, I don't know. To me, I get suspicious. I'm like, oh, you just like wrote a paper about from a different class and submitted it. Or you're not listening. 3 paragraphs. Okay. 600 to 900 words. I don't care if you go over 900 words, as long as you have just 3 paragraphs. Okay. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for an intro. I don't want a conclusion. I just want 3 paragraphs. I want MLA formatting. I want a title. Easiest title is reading analysis assignment 3. And then you write about these 3 articles, each on their own paragraph, and explaining whether they are classification, division, comparison, contrast, or cause and effect. And that you have quotes from the book, from the articles for your examples. They're integrated correctly, and you analyze it. Okay. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need. Okay. I think that's it. There shouldn't be anything else. That's all that's here. So if you finish all that with time to read your memoir, good. Do it. Okay. Because SA3 will be on your memoir. All right. All right. Let me know if you need anything. I hope you're all doing well and you're safe and you can get your work done. All right. Take it easy now.